The new Moto G4 Plus from Lenovo. Oh yeah, it's Lenovo now, as seen on the box. Opening up the box, we are greeted by the G4. Then we have the regular literature, including the SAR value information. And then there's the earphones and a turbocharger. Note that the cable is connected to the adapter, so you need a separate USB cable if you want to transfer data between your phone and the PC. The Moto G4 feels like kinda a fusion of Moto and Lenovo. While it still feels very much like a Moto G, I can't help feeling a Lenovo vibe here. The phone's much slimmer than before, about 7.9mm for the most part and 9.8mm at the camera. The curved back's gone, but the weight remains the same 155 grams. The phone's noticeably taller and wider given that it now houses a 5.5-inch Full HD IPS LCD display. Above the display we have the earpiece, sensors and a 5-megapixel front-facing camera. At the bottom we have a primary microphone and a fingerprint scanner. Unlike most other implementations, this is not a capacitive key. Initial impressions, the scanner works great. To the back, we have the secondary noise cancelling microphone, a laser assist for autofocus, a 16-megapixel rear camera with an f/2.0 aperture, and support for face detection autofocus as well. Then there's a dual-tone dual LED flash, and the motor dimples back but not quite as deep as before. There's nothing to the left. The 3.5mm headphone jack can be found up top, the power button and the volume rockers are present to the right, and at the bottom we have the micro USB port. The back is user removable and inside we find two SIM slots and a dedicated micro SD card slot. The 3000 mAh battery, as expected, is non-user replaceable. Underneath the hood, the Moto G4 Plus is powered by the Snapdragon 617 chip. Now that's 8 Cortex A53 cores clocked at 1.5 GHz each, coupled with an Adreno 405 GPU clocked at 550 MHz, and either 2 GB of RAM on the 16 GB storage variant or 3 GB of RAM on the 32 GB storage variant. So now moving on to software, the G4 Plus runs on an almost stock build of Android 6.0.1 Marshmallow with a very few Moto additions. Glad to see that's not changed since Lenovo's acquisition of Motorola. So as always, there's no bloat and just a few useful Moto apps present. Moto Actions and Moto Display are also returned. It all feels quite familiar. What doesn't feel familiar is the camera UI. We now get a more common shutter key. There's even a Pro mode thrown in. It's worth mentioning that this is a fully featured Pro mode including controls for shutter speed and ISO, unlike the bare bones versions that we see on mid-range devices from other manufacturers. This camera uses a 4:3 sensor and can shoot Full HD videos at up to 30 frames per second. I feel the changes here are for the better, but if you do want to go back to the Moto way of shooting an image, you can do that too. Nice. So I guess that's it for this quick look at the Moto G4 Plus from Lenovo. I know it still feels weird saying that. So anyway guys, as I move into my outro, I'm gonna leave you with a bunch of images that we quickly shot around the office. So if you do want to pick a G4 Plus up, you can do that from Amazon. I'll leave direct links in the description below. And I guess that's it. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, vote it down if you didn't. And for more videos like this, including the full review that should be out soon, hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already.